my countrymen. This is Eli Velislao Pamatong, President of the Republic of the Philippines. And tonight, I have come to share with you my idea on how mankind will probably commit suicide or end itself. Of all human beings in the world, only man has the capacity to destroy not only himself, but the planet in which he lives. So let us explore what man has done so far to destroy not only himself, but the very planet in which he lives. From the beginning of time, it has been said that man has so far killed 150 million to 1 billion during world wars. The sum total of human beings that died during wars throughout the world is about 150 million to 1 billion. Now, with respect to viruses which killed man, it has so far the highest number of casualty. The sum total of human beings died because of virus is about 300 to 500 million. Man must have killed another human being, the total of which is about 1 billion, but viruses have so far killed 500 million. So man has killed more than viruses. Although the upgraded weapon, like atomic weapons, hydrogen bombs, are too scary and too destructive, man is trying to explore other areas of mass weaponry that can destroy humanity far more than nuclear weapons. Although at the same time, simultaneously, on parallel approach, humans are inventing nuclear weapons that are very, very destructive, like char bomba, which can wipe out the entire island of Luzon or entire island of Mindanao. So there is simultaneous development by man of mass destructive weapon on the nuclear side, and mass destructive weapon using virus, any kind of virus. And so far, again to repeat, about 500 million have been killed by natural virus. Maybe some were invented. And there is a strong probability that the virus now, which is killing thousands and millions, may have been invented in China. That is the theory of Dr. Francis Boyle, who is an international law professor at Illinois College of Law, who drafted the anti-biological weapons law in the United States and was enacted into law unanimously by the lower house and upper house in 1989. So there is an anti-biological weapons law in America drafted by Dr. Francis Boyle, an international law professor. Now, why am I saying that there is a strong probability that Dr. Boyle is right in assuming that China invented the coronavirus? Well, the first basis of that is the fact that right now there are 18 or 16 countries which have or suspected to have biological weapons. In fact, Iraq already used them. And I think Iraq killed thousands of Kurds in northern Iraq. What are the countries that are having biological weapons? We have Canada, China, Cuba, France, Germany, Iran, Iraq, Israel, Japan, Libya, North Korea, Russia, South Africa, Syria, the United Kingdoms, and other countries that are secretly developing that. And of these 16 countries, I think Russia has the most stockpile of biological weapons. I don't know about America because there is a law in America against the production of biological weapons. But maybe America do not want to be behind. In case of war using biological warfare, America would not like to be zero in terms of biological weaponry. So that's it. Man, unless man extends himself through artificial intelligence, through bionic persons, I mean, half man, half machine, that man can completely wipe out the entire humanity. So there is a deep desire, driving desire inside, burning inside all human beings to extend his life beyond the borders of eternity. That's why you will hear of Elon Musk maybe having, I would say, robotic engineers at the moon, eventually at Mars, to colonize Mars for human habitation. And the desire of Musk to survive whatever mass destruction, weapon of mass destructions are used by humanity, by one nation against another nation. So that's it. I believe with all my heart that there is a strong probability that China is the creator or user of biological weaponry like coronavirus to dominate the world, to assume political hegemony, to wipe out all human beings if possible except the Chinese. Now, the other basis for that, I am curious to know why right now the total number of cases of coronavirus infected persons in China is about 90,000. 90,000. And the total number of deaths, people who died, about 5,000. More or less 5,000. Cases, active cases, about 90,000. Casualties, about 4,000. Now compare that to the United States. The United States, the active cases in America is about 32 million. You compare 90,000 compared to 32 million active cases. America 32 million, or I would say about 33, let's round it up, 33 million compared to 90,000. Very big, huge disparity. Why, if it is true that China came, I mean, the coronavirus came from Wuhan, China, why is it that the very source has only 90 million active cases and 5,000 casualties, whereas America, which is at the other side of the hemisphere of the globe, has about 32 million active cases compared to 90,000 and half a million, more than half a million casualties compared to 5,000 casualties in China. In America, half a million. Kung kayo, hindi ba kayo mag-suspect that China is the creator, the father or mother of coronavirus that can wipe out entire human population? Di ba kayo mag-suspect? I think there is a reason to suspect that coronavirus is a weapon of mass destruction upgraded by China many times over. Well, if the 16 countries have biological weapons, why not China? And if there are existing biological weapons throughout the world, why not use it for the first time by China? And so I accuse China of uh, starting this biological warfare against humanity to dominate the world in order for China to control it, because China has about 2 billion population compared to about 300 million Americans. That is the problem. That is the problem. Uh, so far, biological weapons, I would say biological problems have been contained by isolation in Europe. Eventually, after about 300 million, 30 to 50 million died, uh, Europe contained that by isolating people. Some voluntarily went to the mountains far from the madding crowd and having their families there. And that was eventually contained, but too many people died in Europe at the time. I would say more or less 167 to 200 million died. Right? Napakadaming papel noon kasi ginamit nilang papel yung mga damit sa mga taong namatay. And at that time, I think printing press was already invented. So ganon, they are upgrading not only the nuclear weapons, but also the biological weapons. And China maybe is the first to test that. Now let us go to our local problem. Because this is spreading inside the Philippines, and how much do we have now? Well, we have about 18,000 casualties dead and 1.5 million infected by coronavirus. 1.5 million, many times more than the 90 million in China, and 17 to 18,000 dead. In India, there are more than 20 million infected and about 250,000 dead. Now you see in the TV, these Indians, Indians of India, not the red Indians of America, burning the corpses on parking lots. Kind of very scary. They burn them. In the Hindu tradition, they don't want to let a corpse stay there for a long time. Because a corpse, a dead body is said to live longer than after he, stopped breathing. And to put that at rest, including the relatives who are mourning, just cremate that and it's all over. So this burning of dead bodies at the park is consistent with, I think, Hindu tradition. To just burn the body immediately, to let the dead soul or person rest in peace, including relatives will be left behind. If you still have to have vigil and all that, it will cause a lot of emotional damage to those who would be left behind, and expenses too. So, yun, ang nangyari sa India. Now, it's going to happen in the Philippines because if it is true that according to Dr. Francis Boyle, China is the author of this. 100% China is using COVID to kill the Filipinos. Now, the best person to use for that is a person of, problematic mentality, like Digong, who, by any standard, Digong has the mentality of a 2-year-old. 2-year-old. Now, he says things which not even a 2-year-old will say. Like bahog bilat, nakukutin. No, a 2-year-old will not say that. So I would say he is mentally 2-year-old. Plus, he is medically confirmed to be insane. And he himself affirmed the statement of Dr. Ryan that he's insane. When he was asked in Singapore, are you insane? He says, yes, I am insane. So we have one person who is mentally 2-year-old at the same time insane. Now, this is very dangerous because before he was elected, he already said, kung pipiliin niyo ako, ibuto niyo ako, papatayin ko kayong lahat. Yun ang mindset niya, background niya, mindset. Papatayin ko kayong lahat. Right? Nakapatay na akong 1,700, more or less. Nakapatay na ako. Akong pumatay sa iba. Right? Now, sa lahat, yung iba, binaril sa utak. Patayin ko kayong lahat. Nakapatay na ako ng 1,700. Pinakain ko ng buhaya, hinulog ko sa helicopter, binaril ko sa ulo yung iba. Papatayin ko kayong lahat. Nakapatay na ako at the age of 16. And then he said, my only crime is AGK. Meaning to say, nakapatay na akong 30,000 through Batu and this probably Sinas who is involved in Tokang. So he confessed, made series of confessions to the effect that he is a mass murderer. So he's the best candidate for China to implement this extinction of the Filipino race through coronavirus. Talagang napaka-gandang gawin, napaka-okay gawin ng instrumento si Duterte. Magpatay ng Filipino because ang mindset niya talagang papatay. Papatayin ko kayong lahat. Kung nagutom at naghirap kayo, wala akong pakialam. Nakapatay akong 16-year-old, nakapatay akong more than 1,700, nakapatay akong more than 30,000, patayin ko kayong lahat, papatay pa akong 3 million to transform the Philippines into a burial or cemetery capital of the world, right? So, yung background niya, number one, 2-year-old yung mentality. At the same time, yung 2-year-old na yan, sira pang ulo, sabi niya, inamin niya sira ulo, confirmed by a doctor. Yung klaseng tao na yan, nagsabi na papatay siya, talagang posibleng ginamit ang coronavirus, weaponized coronavirus to wipe out the Filipino people. Mayroon pang sinasabi siyang nakatakakot. Paulit-ulit, kayong mga bumilib sa akin, yung naniwala sa akin, pag namatay ako, kailangan mamatay kayong lahat, samahan niyo ako, para yun ang sukatan sa pagmahal niyo sa akin. Kung mamatay ako, kailangan yung mga sumusunod sa akin, yung naniwala sa akin, mamatay lahat. Yan ang sukatan sa kanilang pagmahal sa akin. You consider everything, the entirety of what Digong has been saying again and again, you can conclude beyond any shadow of doubt that circumstantially, he is using COVID as a weapon to destroy the Filipino people. Yun. Meron ba si Digong Duterte solution? Meron ba? Wala. Yung pera, 800 billion, about 1 trillion, about 2 trillion, binul sa lahat. Ano ba ginamit niya para kung wari, mabakotahan ng mga tao? Karamihan, donation. And recently, nakita daw siyang nagpa-injection. Pero hindi yun, Sinopharm or Sinovac. Moderna yun. O yung injection from Russia, Sputnik. Hindi naniwala yan sa Sinovac because Sinovac is a weapon of massive destruction to destroy not only the Filipinos but the whole community, world community. Yun ang nangyari. So, to repeat, the only immediate solution of that now is what we used against tuberculosis, yung quarantine. At that time, crude pa yung quarantine formula, yung masasani quarantine, pero malayo sa civilization. Sa Pilipinas, walang quarantine. Yung quarantine, kalokohan yan kasi we are in the same island of Luzon. So we infect each other. That is not quarantine. That's mass destruction. That is house arrest. That's lockdown. That's internment. Quarantine is when you place people in Palawan, very far. in a hermetically sealed hospital or Marinduque. That's quarantine. But if you place the same people in Luzon, yung quarantine barangay to barangay, that's useless. Because coronavirus can travel 8 hours in the air. It's airborne. So any kind of quarantine is useless. You understand? Nakasabot ba mo? Kamo diya sa Davao? Kamo diya sa Cagayan de Oro? Kamo diya sa Luzon? Kamo diya ang mga nasa ibang nasod? Nakaintindi ba kayo? Useless ang so-called ECQ, whatever QQ. Because virus travels through the walls, in the air for 5 hours. Now, if you really want to save your people, put them, the positives in Palawan, put them in Marinduque, in hermetically controlled areas, and declare the entire Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, as COVID-free. And that is what Pamatong will do, given full powers as the President of the Philippines. But right now, you are giving full powers to an idiot who has the mentality of a 2-year-old who talks about bahong bilat, nakukutin, and at the same time confirmed insane by a doctor of psychiatry, Dr. Dayan, and confirmed by himself that he is insane. Now, you are trusting your lives. Like if we are driving a bus, I told you before, a bus loaded with 110 million Filipinos, and that bus is driven by an insane person with a 2-year-old boy mentality and insane at the same time. While he's driving, he's telling the 110 million passengers, ladies and gentlemen, I am your driver, Digong Duterte. But I want you to know that I am insane. I have the mentality of a 2-year-old boy. Yung utin ko ay darating sa puso ko. Bakla din ako. At mahal na mahal ko yung diktador sa China. Lahat ng kaputahan, bugok na bugok ako. Ako nag-drive. Pero wala akong driver's license. Wala akong COC. Now, kung andun kayo sa loob ng bus na yan, tell me honestly, would you not go to the Monabella? Agawin mo, putang ina patayin mo yung putang ina ng 2-year-old boy na yan. Loko-loko pa. Posibleng nirep pa yung anak niya. Ba't wala niyong ginawa? Bakit wala kayong ginawa hanggang ngayon? Naduwag ang Pilipino. Dumuwag after having been exploited, enslaved, abused, oppressed by foreign powers. 333 years under Spain, 4 years under Japan, 48 years under America, and 70 years and counting by China. The sum total of this slavery, oppression, abuse, dehumanization, that produced a zero mentality of the Filipino people, destroyed his humanity, dehumanized him to a point where you would rely more on a dog than on a Filipino. Why am I saying this? If we are dehumanized, no, I am not. Matawag akong mutant tulad ni Waldy Carbonell. Mutant. In spite of massive dehumanization of the Filipino population, we survived, some of us. In fact, there are many who are there listening to me. But they feel powerless because they are located in different areas and they cannot contact each other. Yeah, right? So anyway, ano ba talagang solusyon natin dito? Well, ibigay ninyo sa akin ang power. Tulungan niyo ako. Gawin ko kaagad in 7 days. I-declare kong Manila, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, i-declare ni President Pamatong COVID-free. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. I promise you, I can do it. We have the machinery to do it. We have the planes to carry our positives to Palawan and to Marinduque. And we have everything here within our power. We don't have to ask money from abroad. We can transfer all these positives in other areas and declare Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao COVID-free. What is the other evidence that Duterte is so crazy, so insane, so freaking insane? Instead of using the doctor to treat the COVID-infected persons, ginagamit ang tangke, mga baril, mga sundalo, mga hiniral. Don't you think that's total perversion, lunacy, insanity? Instead of using the doctors, ginagamit mo mga general, ginamit mga colonels, ginamit mga captains, ginamit ang majors, ginamit ang baril. Anong gawin mo? Bombahan, barilin yung coronavirus, ha? Kung hindi pa kayo nakarealize na talagang completely, totally, indubitably, impeccably, loko-loko si Duterte. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to call you. Hindi ko alam kung anong itawag ko sa inyo. Mukhang wala ng pag-asa ang Pilipinas. Well, I'm doing this for you. I am 77 years old. I am in the twilight years of my life. And I can go anytime. But I worry about you. I worry about your children. Your children's children. Who are still conceived in the womb of time. Nag-worry ako dyan. Kayo dyan sa Davao. Kayo dyan sa Cagayan de Oro. Kayo dyan sa Masbate. Kayo dyan sa Ilocos Norte. Kayo dyan sa Pangasinan. Yung mga members ko throughout the Philippines. Not only my members. Kayong mga Filipino, nag-worry ako. I want to live a Philippines that is molded, shaped into the finest image of our ideals. A meritocratic, democratic form of government that can take the Filipinos to a plane of progress and prosperity and possibly graduate into a level of immortality under Bathala. I have organized a church that considers the whole world as an academia for immortality. I believe that the destiny of man is not to enjoy, no, not to live life, not to enjoy life, no. Not that Epicurean bullshit of enjoying life and living life. I think the mission of every man, the whole humanity, is to become gods. You and I will become gods. Eventually, teleport ourselves to the stars and rule the universe with God as God and goddesses. I think, to repeat, the destiny of man is Matthew 5:48. To be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. And Psalm 118:17, which says, my destiny is not to die, but to live forever and spread the word, glory, and greatness of the Lord. That is what I am organizing. That is what I want you to do. Follow me, and I'll take you from here to the stars, ad astra to the stars. I think I have said enough. Thank you and good night.